Hello there, it's Ina here and welcome to my art room. I just finished making this journal here. Well, actually it's more of a portfolio. I took an old book, took all the inside out and just used the cover and made my own inside. It's a bit different than anything I've ever made before, but I really hope you will like it. Now, I used a lot of fabric on this book, in and out, and there was a little bit of sewing involved. But don't worry, if you're not into sewing, you can absolutely do this type of project by just using glue. A little glimpse, front, spine, back, and the inside. I want to make you a little curious. So now in part 1, I will show you how I decorated the outside. And then in part 2, which I will post very soon, I will show you how I did the inside. So here we go. Enjoy! I started with this book cover. Nothing special, nothing old. I picked it because of its size and the nice big spine. I covered the spine with just simple paper after I took the pages out. And now I'm roughing up the outside just a little bit to get it ready for the next step, because these books are very slick. Of course, then you have to wipe them off a little bit. And now I am going to cover it all in gesso. So that's done and it's dry. And I ripped a piece of linen fabric to the right size, tiny bit bigger than my book. And I'm securing the edges using my gel medium, because even though I like the look of the frayed edges, I don't want them to keep fraying. So a little glue stops it from doing that. Next, I use the same glue to attach my piece to my cover, a little piece at a time. And because fabric is so moldable, it's actually very easy to do. It goes on very smoothly. And as soon as it's attached, I turn everything over and double check that there are no bubbles or anything like that, and that it's especially tight around the spine. So I ripped another piece of the same fabric, little smaller than the front page, and on this I want to do a little fabric collage. Now, like I mentioned earlier, even though I will be doing some sewing here, you can easily just glue these pieces down and it will work just as well. So as you can see, I use odds and ends of lace and fabric, pieces from clothing, and I stuck with very natural and neutral colors, but you can of course make this super colorful. So when I was happy with the way it looked, I used some straight pins to hold it in place so I can sew it on with my machine. And here it is done with some very sloppy stitching purposely. Now it's time for some more embellishments. I want to hand stitch on, like the square piece of lace, some buttons, and these really cute little bows with wooden buttons. Now I will also add these metal embellishments. There is a peace sign, there is a little tag with a linen insert and a little heart. I use dark red thread to do all the sewing. First of all, it shows up a bit better, but also it matches the color in some of the buttons. And again, I wasn't super careful with my stitching. Now some gel medium and everything can get glued together, and this piece will fuse really well to the other fabric. To construct a fabric cover this way, I think it's a nice alternative to the more traditional slip covers. And now to the closure. I found this piece of die-cut cardboard. I have no clue where it came from, but it's a perfect size. So I'm adding a piece of lace and a couple of buttons, a couple of wooden buttons. Now, if you don't have a piece like this, you can easily substitute with another hand-cut piece of cardboard, some strong fabric, or whatever else you might have on hand. Now I darken the edges to match the already darkened edges of the buttons, and this piece is nearly ready. Now the white ribbon seemed a little boring, so I added a brown zigzag ribbon on top of it by putting it under my sewing machine. I find the middle of it, and now the piece of cardboard will really secure it in place. Now before I glued this down, I also hand stitched those buttons using again the red thread. So everything is dry and done. So one more look. Here's the front, the spine, a very simple back, And of course the ribbon is loose. I had planned on this type of closure and therefore made sure to place my embellishments in a way that they wouldn't interfere. I hope this was fun for you to watch, and you will come back for part 2 to see the final result of this project. Thank you for coming. Bye bye for now.